Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to Global Happenings Today YouTube channel. Finally, Atiku's camp have reacted to the Fubara Wike's alleged agreement, and of course they've said to make their standpoint known. In fact, it looks like finally Wike have dragged out the elephant himself, and they are ready using Fubara now as a means of exchange. It's becoming very interesting as bigger political stalwarts are coming into this matter. But before we go into the news proper, like and subscribe to our channel by clicking on the right subscribe button beside it to see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as you update our channel on YouTube. Kindly like and share for further coverage. And as we speak, even the bigger top politicians in PDP are already calling out the president and telling him what he needs to do and how he needs to back off. Now, the People's Democratic Party has insisted that there is no shortcut for the 25 former lawmakers who lost their seat after defecting to the All Progressive Congress (APC). This comes despite a recent directive from the President Bola Tinubu seeking their reinstatement. Now, in a statement issued after an emergency meeting, the PDP National Working Committee (NWC) declared that the former lawmakers can only return to the Rivers State House of Assembly through fresh elections. Now, recall that Tinubu on Monday directed the governor Fubara to recognize Martin Amawele as speaker and pay the salaries of the defected lawmakers. However, the PDP says such a move is illegal. The only option available for the former lawmakers is to seek fresh nomination and re-election on platform of any political party of their choice. The statement said they freely vacated the seat, being fully aware of the consequences of defection without justification. And the PDP further clarified that the Rivers State House of Assembly, having declared the seat vacant, cannot re-admit the former members without a fresh election. They also dismissed claims that Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) can be prevented from conducting elections in the affected constituents. Now, in Section 84, subsection 15 of the Electoral Act 2022 is very clear. The statement noted, no court has the power to stop INEC from conducting elections wherever a vacancy occurs. Now, the PDP therefore urged INEC to proceed with fixing a date for fresh elections in the 25 constituencies while assuring their party members to remain united and resolute in upholding the rule of law. And the development is the latest chapter in the ongoing political saga in Rivers State, fueled by the power tussle and struggle between former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, and his successor, Governor Siminalayi Fubara. The defection of 27 lawmakers allegedly loyal to Wike and the counter-declaration of their seats as vacant by Fubara's camp had plunged the state assembly into turmoil. And of course, in another news, very quickly, Atiku's presidential campaign organization spokesperson Daniel Bwala said that the president's directive are illegal, unconstitutional, and null and void. Bwala asked the people of Rivers State to disown the presidential directive. He wrote, and I quote, "The people of Rivers State should disown the so-called directive, which is in itself illegal, unconstitutional, null, and void." Of course, one of the top chieftains of PDP have decided to go ballistic on his own point of view concerning this matter. Now, Dele Momodu, one of the chieftains of PDP, had opened up and said that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu cannot be the headmaster of the state and the federal government. Let me quote him word for word. Using his social media page, Momodu wrote, and I quote, "Directives to Rivers State by a federal president is really absurd in legal terms. No president can be a headmaster of both state and federal. What manner of democracy are we practicing that allows a president to intervene in the internal affairs of opposition parties and overrules the constitution unchallenged, and our politicians comply as if they are in a slave camp? Opposition parties must vehemently oppose this brazen attempt at forcing a one-party dictatorship on Nigeria. How about this is more direct, more original in the fact that it's not going side. And it's actually blasting the government of the day over this Wike Fubara peace deal. And look, let's get very sincere here. My colleague is in the house. What's your take with all this issue of constitution, illegality, and PDP chieftains calling out Bola Ahmed Tinubu over his intervention, quote unquote, in the crisis going on between Nyesom Wike and his prodigy, Sim Fubara? Don't also forget that in all of this, though Atiku has not personally spoken, but I can assure you, we are seeing the hand of Esau and the hand of Jacob and the voice of the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob in this whole matter. What's your take on this drama unfolding?
Well, it's true that Tinubu, as the president of Nigeria, constitutionally does not have the legal right to interfere in this matter. But the first thing we must consider is, just like my people say, that he who takes the palm front to the market square wants the villagers to help him weave it. It is not constitutional for him to do this, and that it can be settled at the party level. But both of you decided to go over, to meet with the president. He invited you. It's very easy for Fubara to say, well, sir, sorry, I wouldn't be ready to allow you meddle into this affair. It's strictly party related and all of that. But both of them went there. What do you expect an elder to do? He must advise. He must, declare his headmastership over them, because already we know that Bola Ahmed Tinubu had enjoyed some level of godfatherism. So if this guy would love to be my protege, why not? After all, there's something called 2027 that is on the way. And if I can be able to secure his obedience as early as now, then I can be so sure that I have been able to get Kano and Rivers State. So that's just the situation here. But looking at the situation, especially as it has to do with the issue of defection based on the provision of the Constitution, the political parties affected have taken their stand, and whatever Bola Ahmed Tinubu agreed with Sim Fubara cannot stand constitutionally. What stands is that those seats are vacant, and INEC must conduct election based on that. That's exactly what will happen.
Well, quite a lot of things have happened that have questioned constitutionally that you just mentioned. If you want to trace from February when the elections began to now, a lot of unconstitutional things has happened. And let's tell ourselves the truth, it's still standing till today. I could still remember the likes of Jibrin Okuntukpe, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. He has been screaming and shouting on social media page about the unconstitutionality of a lot of things that has been going on, especially during the election process and the tribunal, all of which nothing happened. I remember he talked about the issue of CTC, certified true copy by INEC, of which he shouted and screamed. Their legal team talked about it in the court. Nothing happened. So when you talk about this issue of constitutionally, I begin to wonder as if it will be different from what we are used to.
No, this case is the president exercising his executive powers beyond his bound. But the case of those guys defecting to APC, the president has no right, not an iota of right. He is trying to tell Fubara, don't go to court. That's what is happening. In other words, saying, drop all court cases. But it is the place of the governor or the party to talk to the governor and say, don't drop the court case. Let the court case continue. And the executive or the president is not above the constitution. So right now, it's a case of, okay, you guys have called me to resolve this issue. I start from you dropping the court cases.
Okay,
so it's still very effective.
If eventually this thing gets to court case and it gets to Supreme Court, what happens then?
What will happen is they will invoke the power of the Constitution. And the Constitution is very clear. Number one, they said they have...
Are there no loopholes in that Constitution?
The clause there is that in that section, that the only reason why anyone who have a political post or who was duly elected can defect from one party to the other is when there are crises in the party, which during the ex parte application by these 27 lawmakers, they stated that one of the reasons why they moved was because there is crisis in APC, in PDP, pointing to the issue of, I think in Imo State, he was the secretary to the party. So there's some issues surrounding it, but PDP are saying there is no issue anywhere.
And don't you think they can, by default, prove that there was actually issues and still win this case?
No.
Like, this is Nigeria.
Now, yes, they cannot prove it because in way that issue has long been settled before they even defected. So that is where there is serious issue for them.
They should have just opened their mouth and said between Wike and Fubara so that it will have sense, because that period there was actually issues between Wike and Fubara.
Wike and Fubara are not holding any appointive post in PDP. Oh. Wike is just a member of PDP and Fubara is a governor. So it has to do with issues in the either NEC or in NWC of the party at the state level or at the federal level. So now the situation on ground here does not warrant that movement. So they are trying to force it on PDP. But PDP has a right to take their stand. And that's why PDP say there is no wahala in our party. We know what you guys are trying to do. So we are going to court and the court must invoking the power of the Constitution. I think section 109 or so. We are invoking the power of the Constitution to make sure that they declare those vacancies or those positions, the seats vacant, so that they will be by election. So that's the situation here.
All right, let's go and wrap it up. Could go on and on this. Let's meet in our comment section.